quite popular on social media, especially also within the Francophone and kind of African-centered world, because you're also, also Cameroonian. I mean, your mother is, I think your mother is Swiss and your father Cameroonian, or right?
Exactly.
And then you've been actually barred from entering France for quite a while because of your activism, of your anti-colonial activism. And now in June, they put you on that sanction list. Can you maybe tell us what happened to you and why you think it happened?
First of all, thank you, Pascal, for having me. Yes, indeed, I upgraded my sanctioned catalog by being included onto the list of the people sanctioned by the European Council for so-called pro-Russian activities, which is actually, I guess, the most popular reason that they find and the most easiest reason that they find to put people on the sanctions list. As you said, I am actually known for my work onto sovereignty, African sovereignties, African emancipation and stuff like that. And I've actually never really entered the Russia-Ukraine crisis except when it came to demonstrate the false narrative or the hypocrisy of the international order in relation with what is happening in Africa. But they wrote into the sanctions motives that I am busy evicting France and the West out of Africa. That's what is written into the motives.
I read it today. It says, it actually mentions, she's against France in Africa.
Yes, exactly. And that's the main reason why I've been put on that list. And if you want to have France out of Africa, apparently, according to the European Council, then you have to be a Russian agent, which is quite strange in a sense. But the consequences are heavy, I must say. The consequences of being on that list. At the very beginning, I didn't took it really seriously because, as you mentioned, I was already sanctioned by France 3 years before. I was banned from entering and transiting French territories. I didn't mind because I never went to France. It's not, I'm fighting France, so I'm not eager to go there, so it didn't bother me at the time. And I thought that Switzerland not being part of the EU would not affect me. The sanctions of the EU would not affect me. But I was totally wrong because Switzerland is in the middle. Physically, geographically, it's in the middle of Europe. So surrounded by EU countries. And also Switzerland has a government and companies that are eager to follow the instructions of Brussels, apparently. I thought we were a neutral country, but I experienced otherwise. So the consequences were quite heavy. From one day to the other, I started getting my credit cards canceled, my bank accounts closed, my crypto accounts closed.
And you wanted your Swiss bank account was closed because, again, Swiss banks are under Swiss law. Did they give you a reason why they closed? And did they close it or did they freeze your funds? I mean, did they at least say like, hey, where can we wire the money to?
No, both, I would say. So I only have bank account in Switzerland. I have no bank account whatsoever in the European Union. My only accounts were in Switzerland and in Africa. So one of the bank decided to first freeze my accounts. I had an account in Swiss francs and an account in euros. They decided to freeze both of them. And then they decided to close the account without giving any reason. I even had my lawyer write to them and request them to give us an explanation why the payments that I was doing for my payments for my, my rent, my insurance, my health insurance and stuff like that. I would execute them in the app, but they will not be executed in real life. So my lawyer started getting in touch with them. When my lawyer started getting in touch with them, they completely closed the account. Completely. So they are still keeping my euros somewhere there without me having any access to the app anymore, without me having a bank account anymore, but they keep my money. They have closed that account.
So it's frozen. It's frozen. The account is.
No, the account is closed. I don't know where my money is. They completely closed my account.
But they gave you a letter saying this money is still with us.
They sent me a letter before closing the account telling me, okay, tell us where we can wire the money. So I gave them the only account that I have left in Switzerland that is not blocked, that is not frozen. They wired the Swiss amount on that account, but the euro amount has vanished, has never been wired, and they are not willing to respond.
Well,
they stole it.
That's outrageous. That's even worse. That's stealing. I mean, freezing it would still be yours.
They stole it. Yes, they stole it.
And the other account is
and
that
the other account is with PostFinance, which almost every Swiss citizen is having an account with PostFinance. They froze the euro account, and they kept the Swiss account, but with limitations. So I can't access Twint anymore. So every Swiss citizen would know what Twint is. It's like a mobile payment application because everybody's using Twint nowadays. Also, the credit cards has been disabled. It's only limited to certain payments that I can do. And what is worse is that even the other banks, the banks I'm not a client with, for example, UBS is the bank where my rent is wired towards my owner is having a bank account at UBS. UBS would refuse payment from PostFinance coming from my account to PostFinance to pay my rent.
So internal Swiss transactions are being refused.
Absolutely, are being refused. Yes, completely. So that's the very beginning of your nightmare. Then, and if you are abroad when it happens and you don't have any credit cards, you don't have any means of payment, and if you don't have cash with you, then you are lost. You are completely lost. And then you get cut on every platform. You get cut out of Airbnb. You get cut out of who you call it? Google, Amazon.
Google, your Gmail was closed down.
I was demonetized. My channels were completely demonetized immediately.
Your YouTube.
With YouTube, yes. Yes, because the wiring address was my Swiss account. So since one part of the sanction is the freezing of your asset, the other part is the banning of entering, transiting, and flying over European territory, and the third sanction is the interdiction. So it's forbidden to anybody to provide services or fund to a person sanctioned. So any business accepting your money would run the risk of infringing the sanctions. So people are just choosing to close everything, So and it becomes very difficult because even companies, airlines can refuse to take you as a passenger.
But Google is a US company, and it's headquartered in Ireland, which is European Union, But
I have an experience last week with Expedia. Expedia being an American company based in the US, and I tried to buy a flight ticket, which was outside of Europe. Departure and arrival was outside of Europe, never going over European territory or whatever. And they took the money, and then they wrote back to me that they are unable to proceed with the ticket. So they would return the money to where it came from, to the card it came from. And they asked me, okay, do you want us to book you a new ticket now that we are online on the phone? I said, okay, let's do it. So they did the transaction. They booked me a new ticket. I paid for the new ticket. They sent the new ticket, and 24 hours later, I received 2 emails from Expedia telling me that it's impossible for them to do business with people that are sanctions. I'm not sanctioned. I'm not sanctioned in the US. I'm sanctioned in the European Union. The ticket was for a destination and for a flight that was absolutely outside of the US, of the European Union. And though they refused, they said, no, we are not proceeding. We cancel the flights and you are not getting the money back.
They just did that. They just
did. I will send you the mail after the recording. You will see it.
It's quite it's quite incredible. I mean, and that's Expedia. That's not even the airline doing that.
It's not the airline. It's Expedia telling me, writing to me that they are not. They can't proceed, even though I'm not sanctioned in the United States.
So it's
an American company based in America. And it is for a flight that is outside of the European Union.
So this is the long arm of the European common market, because any company that wants to make sure that they have zero problems, they just voluntarily implement the sanctions, even if they don't have to. It's like their due diligence department, the in-house lawyers probably recommend doing that, and then they just proceed. So have you been able to fly?
And African bank, same as the African banks.
Do they implement it too?
Yes. And I was surprised. I was like, we're in Africa. Why do you want to close my account? And then they said, oh, we have correspondent bankers in Europe, and we don't want to have any problem. So
were all of your accounts closed? Also the ones in Africa?
I'm still left with one. I won't tell the name of the bank because maybe they will then have problems. But I'm left with one account in Africa and a limited account with PostFinance.
Wow, that's absolutely horrible. How about flying? I mean, do airlines board you? Have you been able to fly since you were sanctioned?
I've been able to fly, but you run the risk of having airlines saying they don't want you as a passenger because you are on the list. Everything is connected. They type it at the airport, and then I'm lucky because I've stopped using European airlines a long time ago. When it's not necessary, I was always using other airlines, not European airlines. So for now, it's okay. I don't know how it would be if I had, for example, to fly over the European airspace with an airline. Maybe they would consider that they could accept me as a client, but not on that route and not on that itinerary because it's flying over the European space. I have not experienced it as of now. Let's see.
But this brings me to my next question. I mean, as a Swiss citizen, you have the right to return home. That's a fundamental right in international law. I mean, to my knowledge, it's a human right to return to the state that you've got a passport with, that you're a citizen of, and you haven't been able to go back, have you? I mean,
no, I have not. I have not been able to go back because, and this is the same that will happen with Jacques Beau, for example, and for Xavier Moreau. The European Council issues 2 documents. The first one is the decision sanctioning you that you have seen with the motives and everything.
You received that thing to your inbox, to your mailbox?
No, I received it on the internet because if they cannot hand it out to you, or if they don't want to hand it out to you, it's sufficient for them to publish it in the official journal of the European Union.
Right.
This is enough for them. So that's how I was Googling it. I Googled my name when I received a lot of message saying to me, "Oh, we are sorry that it happened to you." And I was just coming out of an aircraft. I was 5 hours in an airplane. I entered. I knew nothing. 5.5 hours later, when I land, I come out. The first WhatsApp message that I receive is from my lawyer, who is telling me, "Oh, I've been informed. I'm standing by." And I was like, "What is he standing by for? Why?" So I Googled my name, and that's where I saw that I've been sanctioned. that you are not called for, you're not informed of any procedures. You don't have the right or the occasion to have a contradictory meeting with them in order to discuss, okay, you are accusing me of this, let me prove you that. No. It just come out of the blue, puff, and you get it. That's it. So you get the decision, and then there's another paper. That's the rules of the European Union. And in 2024, they decided that they will implement sanctions for pro-Russian activities in Europe, against pro-Russian activities in Europe. And in that règlement, as they call it, so in that règlement, it is written, and in the first article, it's written the definition of European territory, and it includes airspace specifically. So even though they would say, okay, no, you can go home if you want, but in the rules, in the règlement linked to the decision, it says specifically that you can't fly back. And if a company decides to board you and then to bring you back to Switzerland, you can't be sure that you will ever have the opportunity to go out of Switzerland.
Yeah, of course. In the best case scenario, you go and lock yourself in a country smaller than the island of Kyushu in Japan. Yeah.
And specifically in a country that is extremely digitalized, and when you are cut out of every digital platform, when you are cut out of every digital payment, every stuff, then probably you will stay there, become homeless because you can't pay your rent. Because as I told you, even the banks that I'm not client in are refusing my payments.
Yeah.
So I am not willing to go back, to risk to go back and be stuck there in an open air jail with no means and anything, so it's very difficult decision to make.
What did the Swiss do? I mean, this is the moment when you need support by the, consular services. You go to the embassy and tell them, look, you need to help me. It's the same like if you end up in prison abroad, you go and you tell them, help me.
They did nothing. As I told you, I received the information on me being sanctioned when I got out of an aircraft in an African country. So my lawyer liaised with the Swiss embassy of this country and said, "Oh, my client just arrived in the country. We're just getting information that she has been put on a sanction list by the European Union. Can you please provide the consular services assistance and everything?" They said no. If I have to liaise with the European Union delegations.
They tell you to liaise with the Europeans, with the people who sanctioned you. Yes. They refused you service? They didn't say please come to us?
Yes, they refuse. I even have it in writing because my lawyer was writing to them. So I can prove everything that I'm saying. Yes.
Spineless pieces of work. But no, I mean, what are they there for? I mean, seriously. These are emergency cases when you would actually need this kind of support because this is a third party attacking you.
But let me tell you, it's not my first experience with non-responsive consular assistance by Swiss diplomats, because in 2019, I was invited to the first Russia-Africa summit to be held in Sochi. And they were actually, I think all heads of states of Africa were there. So I think at least 50 were present at that summit. And I was invited